diminuendo, diminuendo. יופי. תודה רבה. אני אגיד את הנאום באנגלית, אבל אני רוצה ממש להודות לכולם שבאו פה. תודה רבה לכם כולם. There's a danger with evenings like this because you get to almost believe what you hear about yourself. And I think I always been told, it says, never believe what they tell you that's really, really good, because that'll make you sort of a little bit like, oh, I can do anything I want because I'm that good. I don't think I'm that good, but thank you anyway for all of these great accolades. I really appreciate that. Mr. Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, the Genesis Committee, thank you so much for this honor. You know, when I was growing up in Tel Aviv, my parents were poor, and to get enough food was a constant challenge. I remember care packages arriving from an aunt in Toronto, homemade chicken soup in a jar, a can of Del Monte fruit cocktail with that red cherry that I loved, a check for a few dollars. We were recipients of charity. We were on the other side of giving. We were receiving. Despite this constant struggle to survive, there was always, in the corner of our tiny apartment, a pishkale for the Jewish National Fund. My parents would put a penny or two when they could spare it. You see, giving tzedakah was a way of life, whether you could afford it or not. It was tradition. It is what we do. It's funny, even though I'm fortunate enough that my circumstances have changed since I was the poor kid in Tel Aviv, those two childhood lessons still inform my life. I remain focused on getting enough to eat and the act of giving tzedakah. And while it won't surprise you that I have little trouble these days finding enough to eat, the moral obligation to give charity is one that I take seriously. It is a lesson that we Jews learn early. It starts in nursery school and continues until the day we die. Sometimes even after that. Somehow I know that after 20 years in the ground, I'll still be getting requests from the United Jewish Appeal. Itzhak, answer the phone when you're there. And it reminds me of the story that I always tell in all fundraisers of the Jewish couple who are going on vacation from New York to Hawaii. And in the middle of the flight, the pilot comes on and says, folks, we have some bad news and some good news. The bad news is that we lost 2 engines on our plane, and we have to land earlier than we planned, and we're going to be over the ocean. But the good news is that when I was flying during the Second World War, I knew of an island that was uncharted, and we can land there. Of course, the problem is if anybody will find us. That's the problem. So Mrs. Goldberg turns to Mr. Goldberg, and she says, Moshe, did you do the usual annual pledge of $100,000 to the UJA? He said, yes, I did, dear. He says, did you pay it yet? He says, not yet. She says, don't worry, they'll find us. Anyway, it's not a true story, but it could be. The charity we received from our Canadian cousins was not my only childhood experience with receiving tzedakah. When I was a student at the Juilliard School in New York, a lady of means helped me out by providing taxi money for the trips to and from the school and funds for books and sheet music. It wasn't a lot of money, but it made a difference. She was not Jewish. She did not want anything in return. I suspect she had a soft spot for me because she had lost her daughter to polio. Maybe she was motivated by an emotional need. I don't know. However, I'm sure that she influenced me. Her generosity did 2 things. It deepened my commitment to giving, and it also made me curious about the larger concept of charity and how it affects not just the recipient, but also the giver. Her pure agenda taught me something about giving, and the Genesis Prize has given me an opportunity to make some of my dreams come true, to help others the way I was helped. So we have been hard at work trying to figure out how to make the most of this prize. You know, this prize is they give you the money and you have to give it right back, so it's a big challenge. So there are so many good causes, but one of the wonderful aspects of being given this prize is that I get to choose. Who, where, what do I want to support? You will not find my answer surprising. What is closest to my heart is not a secret. Classical music is my life, and so are the problems of the disabled. Developing promising new talent is something my wife Toby and I have always supported through the Perlman Music Program, and we have made it our mission to cultivate performers over the years. Our goal has always been to encourage and to nurture a new generation of world-class musicians. A portion of the award funds will be invested in developing superior training for talented musicians in Israel to give them an opportunity to grow and bring their talents to the world stage, as well as continuing the growth of music culture here in this country. Another portion of the award fund will be invested in creating a better and fairer world for men, women, and children with disabilities. We need to fully support those with disabilities and work with them to tear down barriers in their path, both attitudinal and physical. In the coming weeks, you will hear announcements about the details with some very exciting initiatives in culture and music, and the establishment of a partnership with Matan in Israel and the Jewish Funders Network in the United States, which will lead to significant investment in supporting persons with disabilities. I think of charity two ways. There is global charity, that's the Bill Gates type, when one gives a large amount to a giant organization that helps thousands of people one does not know and will never meet. Don't get me wrong, that's important, and whatever the money goes to cancer research, vaccinations for kids, or mosquito nettings to prevent malaria, lives are being saved. Then there is the more personal type of tzedakah. That is what the woman from Detroit did. She gave knowing what it would mean to me. It didn't save my life, but it changed my life. Which is better? Of course, both. Both types will fill critical needs, and both types are worthy of our praise. Recently, Mark Zuckerberg, the founder and head of Facebook, announced his intention to give away the bulk of his and his wife's fortune during their lifetime to charitable causes. While the vast majority of the public supported their decisions, quite a few people pointed out that he was motivated by taxes, or that even after they gave all that money away, they would still be very rich. In the United States, I suppose like in Israel, there are no shortage of critics. But really, the only response to a gift like Mark's is to say thank you. And likewise, that should be the response for any act of tzedakah. Not was it enough, was it to the right charity, could it have been spent better? No, the response to an act of thoughtful charity should be thank you. So let me start my thank yous. I thank philanthropist Roman Abramovich, who has once again doubled the prize award to $2 million, allowing many more to benefit from his generosity. In addition to Roman, I want to thank everyone who made this such an amazing night. Prime Minister Netanyahu, Chairman of the Selection Committee, Natan Sharansky, Chairman of the Prize Committee, Yuli Yoel Edelstein, Michael Friedman, the visionary behind the prize, along with co-founders German Hahn, Peter Avin, and Stan Polovitz, who has led these efforts, as well as the entire Genesis Prize team. To Alan Alda, who was kind enough to lend his voice to the little film you saw, Alan is a very generous supporter of the Perlman music program, and for that and for his friendship, I'm deeply thankful. Most importantly, I would like to acknowledge my dear family, my wonderful wife, Toby, and my 5 children, 3 of them who are here tonight, Noah, Nava, and Leora. Rami and Ariella are with us in spirit, but they're in the States, couldn't be here tonight. I'd also like to thank Helen Mirren for ensuring that this night was entertaining and fun for everyone. I feel lucky and honored to have gotten to know her, especially since I'm such a great fan of her wonderful work. Thank you, Helen, so much. So thank you, everyone, for this honor. The physical prize is wonderful, but what I will cherish even more is the opportunity that you have given me to make a meaningful difference in the lives of others. I'm humbled and honored to receive this award. Thank you very much.